connection, public, preparing to live stream, and setting up from Zoom with the connection. And of course, there'll be some latency and it's working fine. Okay. So I have someone volunteering to moderate our chat this afternoon. Kendall, be so gracious. And also Zach, beautiful. And before I begin, any comments, Zach? Did you do the VAPI, the voice API?
Yeah, I did.
Comment? So what did you learn from that?
I thought it was really interesting just seeing how you can make it work and how you can add a
Make
bunch
what
of,
work?
just like how to make the phone number work and add your assistant into it. But then it was just hard for me to find a number that actually had any meaning. I could
Right. Then that's the difficult part. And there are basically companies, and guess what? One is AI really should be able to find all those combinations, right, of those numbers. There's software out there that tries it. Uh, what I like besides VAPI's platform that allows us to get phone numbers attached free is that they allow you to at least look up 10 numbers. Other companies that even that you have to pay, or they'll allow you as a demo to try it out, Zach, will give you the number. Just like sometimes you go to your phone carrier. Did you pick your phone number when you were at your carrier for your mobile number?
I'm honestly not sure. Probably not,
Right.
I would
No,
assume.
so a lot of times they just give it to you, that some providers would do it. Other times for companies, what they would do is they pay another provider and they'll buy it from a company. They say, hey, this is such a good number, we'll sell it, for it. So those are issues. But the whole idea, Zach, is the idea of branding, that I have a theme, then I can even have my phone number. And sometimes you could remember how I said before, um, Marco, that I zeros and ones were not as useful, but sometimes I can use the zero as what? What does a zero look like?
An O?
I know, right? And a one looks like what?
An I or an
An
L?
I or a lowercase l. So sometimes people will even use those numbers and they use it, Marco, which is interesting for security purposes. That if somebody wanted to take it, hey, they thought that was a zero. Sometimes, for a lot of times programmers will put like a slash and a zero to be able to differentiate. That's a zero and that's not a capital O. But sometimes people will take that off and use it for security purposes. And they say, hey, people can't recognize it and they can't just grab it off the screen. So it's interesting, that idea, and that's what sometimes you can't do it. For instance, I told you I have the number whiz more biz, so it's basically giving more business, like a wizard for more business. I also have the number, the psych AI, or the psycho. So, anyways, you can use it. So, Zach, going back to that, so what's the difference between this phone number that you have? Did you call it? Did you dial it? Zach, the number you
Yeah,
got?
yeah, I dialed it.
Okay. And what happened when you dialed it?
My AI assistant that I made in the assignment was talking.
Okay. And then the next part, remember we had the system part, is then that next part is just how they answer it. The next part is you can then give it more training in between. So our next part that we want to do, Zach, is you have already your URL for your website, right? So you could then train it with your website. Take each of your pages, include it there, and have it trained. And then you could even give it to something like Notebook LM for one of your sources, and have it, and then ask it, set for me a prompt that agent could be able to know about my company. And then you could put that prompt into your VAPI for basically the descriptions and the rules that need to be for vapping, and each time. And then I was knowing, and I wanted to try it out myself. Those of you that want to pursue this and are just as excited as I am about it, is that it can also forward. So as soon as somebody said, for instance, that accounting department, they could then transfer it, let's say, to Isa, because they said accounting, and it could ring on her number. And then it could even ring to a real number or as a backup number or to another agent. So you could even then grab it further and make it much more sophisticated. And the idea here is that number needs to be provisioned so it can accept those large language models. Small language models or large language models, and that's what differentiates those voice agent numbers to a regular number. There's still that number, but what's going to be attached to it are those voices. And many of you are thinking about what services you should provide on your website, Zach. What are you guys doing?
Consulting for like startup businesses.
So maybe one of your services could be, we can get you voice agents and give that as one of your services. Just like those guys came in and they were making, what did they say, 300 grand or something to give those. It'd be interesting. Have somebody in your group, besides putting your phone number and your chat in your website, provide that as a service and show them as examples. We can teach you how to do it, or we can do it for you. And then later on, once you are confident in our services, you can charge them for keeping it up. And what are you charging them? That it can be more specific of what they want that agent to do. Do they want their agent to be like a spam filter? Do they want their agent then to transfer to real, once we know that they're a qualified client, that we can move them to different parts for the startups? So that if you're looking for startups, if you're looking for venture capital, direct it to our development officer. If you're there to sell us something, we're not interested. You know what I mean? Thank you very much. Because if they're a startup, maybe somebody's going to try to sell them, but maybe if it's useful for them, they want to. So you understand, just as one of those, and this is for everybody, you can use that as one of your services and show how this can be used as one of the services in the functionality. What do you think about that, Zach?
I think that's a really good idea. I'll
You
definitely
know what I mean?
that.
If that someone in your group that's really interested and wants to pursue it, let them do that as one of their two things. I'll put it on our website, plus I'll do that as one of our services and show them. Nobody even knows that can be done. What is a AI voice agent? Where give me a scenario where it can help. What is the problem? We have to hire somebody just to answer our phone or just to answer our chat bot. And then what's the difference here between a regular chat bot and this is it has a phone number that's attached to it. That a lot of times people like conversational part. Sometimes people like the text. Other part, I want to hear it. And then you can even have different agents with different voices being for different positions. So then it could be almost an AI agent. Fantastic. Okay, everybody understand where we're going with this? Okay, so let's talk about where we're going and what's happening here. I'm a little bit upset that we're running out of time. Okay, so what I need to do is let me go to, we see everyone looking bright and cheerful. And now I want to go to our content. My edit mode is off, so I want to go to always what? In this case, I want to go to what's due. I know today our phone voice AI agent assignment is up and should be installed. We have this of information systems within the organization. Basically, here I put in the word ERP. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. What does that mean? An enterprise is an organization, right? An enterprise is an organization. What kind of organization? University is a great organization we all know of, and it has different departments. And what's the idea of these ERPs is to instill a way in which a number of participants in the organization can gain access to it. And what are the trends for the ERP, you think? The trends are what? It's going to have more and more conversational AI attached to it, more AI attached than it was before. And I gave you these readings here. One is, of course, on machine learning and AI. These are in the subfields. This is on generative AI as well, that we're familiar with, but just to understand what's happening. And for our next assignment is due a week from today. This week from today is the final project, part 3. When you're looking at this final project, part 3, this is the point where you as a group need to decide who is going to be the owner of certain parts of the project. And then you'll have chapter 12, which is the business analytics. This is that is on November 12th. This is the last chapter we'll have. And this is on business analytics. And here are a couple of additional articles on that we've included as well, on ERP and also on 5 technologies of AI, including agentic AI. So let's look at the audit assignment. I want to do that first to make sure that it's working properly. This is your phone assignment. This is it. The goal is progress the website by adding and updating pages, create service offerings. Some of you have already upgraded for the domain name. Everybody needs to upgrade. You shouldn't pay anything, right? Your code that we gave you, that we're so lucky to be able to have a academic partnership with Wix, that we don't have to pay for the upgrade of the business plan and also of the domain name. Make sure of the social media. You know, Daniel, we should integrate then, instead of FastBots, it should say integrate.
Yes, I need to change
yes.
that up.
That's why it's beautiful, Daniel, that we review it, huh? That we don't even think about it. That instead, last semester, just so you know then, Zach, we had an academic partnership with a company called FastBot. The problem with them is they didn't have a phone number attached to it, but it was very similar as a chatbot. So what we're lucky about is we're moving towards Vapping now, where we can use a virtual phone, plus we can do chatting on the bot, and then implement LM, Notebook LM and record a podcast. And for sources, Zach, it would be what? Using Notebook LM for a podcast, put it on your website, right? But give it the sources of what? All of your pages of your URLs, right? Of your home, of your team. So then they can talk about it. And you have already a podcast. And guess what? You can put a note there, Zach, what? If you'd like a podcast, we can give you those services as well. All those things, isn't that neat? You think to yourself, who would want that? A lot of people would want that. Did you know any of this before, Zach? If you were going to be a startup, you had no clue. Am I correct?
I didn't know.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So already, some of you don't even realize how much you've already can give someone. And then add a VAPI, of course. Then you'll add one of your VAPI phone numbers. You've already created that and put it as part of it. So if I go to Let me open this up in a new tab. So this is part 3. The best way to do this, there's a lot to do, but it isn't a lot if we divide it up properly, and that we have, I've already seen some, looking at some of your sites, some of you have people in your groups that are not carrying their weight. One of the things that I want every group also to do, Daniel, I don't know how we should add it, is maybe we should also have, when they submit this, that they already maybe put who's being assigned these or something like that. What do you think? Or we can talk about it, Daniel.
I don't know if they put that in the website or.
No, not in the website, but I'm just saying as another document or to keep track of it. I think maybe.
Yeah, they should probably keep track of it because they'll post that in the PowerPoint eventually.
Yes. In your final presentation, this should not be as part of your website, but in your final presentation, you will be stating, you will have a slide of what everyone has done for your project. The only problem is if you have somebody, for instance, that needs to do social media and is not doing their great share of it, the problem is the group will be suffering for it. So we need to get backups. You need to check everybody's work. So maybe if they can add that, we can think about it. So you need to, in this case, progress with your website, create service offerings. And this is what you need to do, is you need to go back to your website and make sure it says, what are the problems that you are trying to solve for what audience and what are your solutions? Everybody hear me? That you're trying to solve problems. So for instance, I'm just taking you, Zach, today. If it's for those startup companies, that the audience are startup companies, and what are their possible problems and what solutions are you going to be addressing? And it can say, these are the start and we'll be addressing in the future, we'll be addressing many other issues. But these are examples of what we can provide for you, either in terms of tutorials about AI, but not just, how to use ChatGPT or how to use Copilot, but rather if it's ChatGPT for something certain that they need to do, that you're going to be working on it, or Copilot, that they're going to have so many of their emails to address on their emails. And I want on your website to have a place where you will say, call our AI agent phone number. So you'll pick, each group will pick then someone from your group that will be in charge of this, putting that on the website, putting it out there in the front, and making sure that when you call that number, it will be working, and you want that number to be able to talk about your services. So in this case, one of the things that we and have the VAPI as a chatbot say, call our number or chat with our agent. Right? And you can make it that it is our agent, but our agent will just not be generic, but we'll be asking it. So I should be able to ask the team, and you should be able to see if it works. In this case, for instance, Zach, tell me who's in this team. Who are the team members? And it should be able to tell you back, right? Because you've already trained it in this case. So what I'm telling you is create a separate page for your website for apps. And on that page, a separate section for each AI tool that you use, and put it in the way of those AI tools that you will either teach them how to use those tools, will do those operations for them. So they will be able to see your expertise. So each person in your group will do at least one video. The video should be less than 5 minutes. You don't want a long video. but you want to, just as you say, introduce yourself professionally, of, hi, I'm Dr. Rush. I'm the mentor of this group, or whatever role what you have, and give examples and show a real world application in line with the mission of your company. So if you're going to be showing them a VAPI, or you're going to be showing them something else, if someone had not used the tool before watching your video, they should be able to understand how to use it after watching. So even though they may know how to do it, they may not want to do it, because then I'll have an understanding of it. Do you understand that, Zach? Even though maybe they could get the VAPI number, I don't want to spend my, if I'm now the programmer, the CTO of the company, I don't have time to do this. Can you do this for me? And can you get me a good number? Or can you get me even 2 numbers? But then you'll have to work with them, and you can even say that we'll work with you to see what is the goal for your number. For us, we wanted to have people that, who is our team, what is our mission, things like that. If someone had not used before, also provide the verbal pros and cons for each video. So the cons could be, in this case, possibilities is that we couldn't find a number that actually spelled the domain name. So the con in this video is that maybe we have to go to another company to get more numbers. Make sure to upload these videos to your website and check that they work. One of the things I'm going to emphasize again to each of your groups, even though you give it to someone else, right, Zach? They're in charge of the phone numbers. Everyone in the group has to check to make sure it works, because for them, they may have skipped it. For them, it may have worked on their computer, but doesn't work on yours. You know how sometimes it works. They've skipped something. You want to give them constructive feedback, just like the team, and say, and then if they're maybe stuck and someone knows something better than you, reach out, and in here I can help you. You want to have a company YouTube account. The same videos that you place on your website should be available on this YouTube channel. Include a YouTube clickable button next to other social medias on your website. Great. You already know how to do right? It's beautiful, Zach, right? You already can record in Zoom and stream live to YouTube. Does it take a lot of uploading? No, if I know already if it works. So have that person then be in this account of YouTube account. And that may be what you want to show them too, is, hey, you can do webinars, and you can also, if you get a business Zoom account, you can also get a stream at the same time live to YouTube. Upgrade your domain name. Make sure, what I'm saying for this class is, I don't want you to pay for anything. So I think .ai is not available, but biz and shop and com are available. So make sure you choose one that's free, so you don't have to have any paid plan. Later on, if you want a paid plan, you can go up to it, but you don't need to do it. I'd also like you to do already search engine optimization, seeing if we can be higher on the search engine. So make sure you have someone on that site to go to your site, to websites SEO, and complete the steps. There's a checklist of what you want to do. You need to have a domain name before you do this SEO. So Google, basically what it does, the Google Search Console, then will crawl your website and make sure that it's available. And then later on, you want to make sure that when you try to Google your domain name, that it comes up. To find your name, sometimes it takes a while. So if you don't see anything, consider waiting for 24 hours. So you want to not do this at the last minute. This is going to take time. And then you have to have at least 3 different free services. I want you, in this case, since it is actual, since this is real, for you in the beginning to have free services. Because guess what? No one knows you. So in this case, we'll do free services. And later on, you can say, once you get a following, then you can even get real testimonials, because remember, I don't want you to have those fake testimonials, but real testimonials, then, you can charge whatever the going price is or whatever anyone's going to do. But at first, you can do group training sessions, consulting, webinars, online seminars, and then create that new page for services. And then also Notebook LM. Access, go in. Of course, don't use your school account. You need your non-school account where you're going to generate your podcast off your website URL. So make sure that you have your domain name and you have several pages. So just don't do then that first domain of your URL, but every separate page should be added as well. So whenever you go to one, take that URL and tweak it so you're satisfied with the podcast. And with the podcast, you can make it short, you can make it long, you can make it medium. You can decide what you want to add to the podcast. And I would even advertise it as check our podcast. If some of you could say this is available for our services as well. Add the podcast to your website. So here the file will download as a wave. You convert it to MP3, insert this, and upload it as the podcast of the AI podcast. And then the VAPI phone number, again, this is only one member in the group, of course. You can do this. This was from our guest speakers. Remember those two guys that came in, Janis and Henrik. This is some sites that they did for the VAPI, and the difference is in terms of the prompt. Edit the assistant system prompt to fit your website. This is the part we left for default in the VAPI assignment. And this is where I want you to put the specifics of your website. One way you could do it is you can use Notebook LM, but you don't have to. To add it, you upload the link of each site. Then you can ask Notebook LM to create the system prompt for you. To include, you want to include for your prompting for VAPI, to include what's your mission, what's your team, what's your services. You can put in certain text. And then once you have that, you'll put that into VAPI, then you'll embed the VAPI widget into your website. And under assistance, you'll click, you'll go to your widget, and under that widget, you keep the mode as chat. You could either have chat, I think it says chat, or voice. You can keep it as chat because you'll have a place in your website where you'll have them call the phone number and this one, and then you can say chat with agent. You can deselect illegal and consent, and then you want to just go to your Wix website editor to the element, and then you can choose to embed the code. You can paste it, publish the site, and of course, how many times am I going to do it? You will get points taken off if you put something on your website and it doesn't work, right? It's useless for anybody if it doesn't work. So put your phone number there, make sure you call, and when you call, right, turn on your speaker so you can see it, and it should redirect, then change the button, and make sure the AI agent support number, test it once again. Make sure besides you that other people check it out, that it works. And each member is required to check the entire website is complete, all the features work properly. If there are issues, you should help your group members troubleshoot. So it's not going to go, Zach, if you say, Mary was in charge of that. That's not our business anymore. this is your company. You got to get it out, whether Mary succeeded or not. And remember, this is a group project that this should be, but people have to carry their weight. You should basically take notes in your meetings when the meeting was taking place, that you have documentation. This is what everybody's assigned to, when this should be done. This should be done not when this is due on Wednesday before class. This should not be said to everybody, this should be done before class. It has to be done before, the day before at least, so everybody can check, is this working? And another part that I have that I want to emphasize is it's really great with the AI that you can generate a website so quickly, but then you as a group have to read it and say, how can we refine it? And you even can take that part, what's written the first time, and bring it back to another generative AI program and say, now define and now explain it, and keep on bringing it that you can understand it well, and that your potential clients can understand what problems are you trying to solve for a business. Daniel and Isa, any comments on this?
I mean, if you want, we could take a look at my website and
Yeah,
see
I
how
was just going to say that same thing. Perfect. So I want to go, I think 1,000 pictures is 1,000 words. So perfect on that. So I'll just start even with this. I'll do it in a new tab. This was Daniel's, and you can see here, Intel AI Gent Corp, right? And then you can see this is his website. This is his domain name. He took one of the images. He gave credit to the image at this time, helping AI elevate, call our agent, listen to our AI podcast, chat with our agent. And then if I ask who is on the, let's see if it works, on the team, comes up. Everybody see that? You see that, Zach? So it comes up with Daniel, Isa, and Lily. Neat, huh? And then it's the same thing. Zach, if you called that number, supposedly that number would work, and it talk about Intel Agent Corp, and you could be able to call that number. You want to test both of those out. Even if you weren't responsible, Zach, right, for these, you want to make sure that this represents you, that it works. And then if it doesn't work, guess what? Stuff doesn't work. That's the nature, right? That's the nature. One of the first things we want to do is document it and then not leave it and just try to keep on going to see how it is. Get in touch, right? That we have it about, a lot of you have about meet, meet our folks, right? We talked about that. That should be done already, right? Our free offerings, right? Seminars on demand and the videos, right? These are kind of like examples for these, ChatGPT spread analysis. And since Daniel was the only one on this, he has fewer. If you have, 4 people, you have at least 4 videos, with that. Frequently asked questions, you put in, help center, what we specialize in as well. So if it's divided up, it can do it. And then after we finish that for next week, Zach, what's the next thing is then, of course, we're going to refine it even better. And on December 1st, Zach, you will be with a PowerPoint, some kind of slide presentation. You will be presenting to me and to Daniel and to Isa your final project. I, Daniel, and Isa will be giving you feedback, but I expect on December 1st that we'll be able to say, Zach, it's fantastic. Go for it. It's wonderful. But what I always liked for myself as a student, whenever I turned something in after the fact, if I got a 89 and I said, why did I get an 89, right? I'm obsessive, like some of you are in class, and they said, well, you didn't do this, or this didn't work. Oh, had I known that, or we needed to add one more video, had I known that, we would have done that. So I give you an opportunity. We are not having, everybody understand, we're not having a final exam. Instead, you will then fix up your website, but it shouldn't be, there should be little things, like here that you remember we were looking at one site and the coloring wasn't good. It was like white on gray or something like that. And then what I want you to do is, guess what? You will record it. How? In Zoom, right, Zach? Without a password. Everybody will be talking and you'll be giving a presentation, not to me, but you'll think about it as potential investors, like you're doing like the slide deck of you're a startup. But everyone will participate and you will be presenting your project as if someone didn't know about your project. I'll be doing December 1st, just quickly going over each of your, because I've seen, by then I will have seen every group's projects and I'll be giving you feedback along the way. You understand? But for your final, your presentation and what's will be complete and everyone will participating. You will put what everyone has said. You'll even have the AIQ summary on it, just like you've done before. And then you can even stream live to YouTube on your account. And guess what, Zach? If somebody wants to have your services, send them the URL, send them the link to the YouTube, and send them your Zoom recording. I think that's better than sending your final exam to somebody. That's my own process on that. Any questions? Comments? Kendall? Everybody got what I need? Sophia, what do you think?
I think it's pretty clear. I've been having just a bit of issues like with the website and how to use it, but
okay, so
I guess no, yeah.
You can reach out to Isa and you can reach out to Daniel, and possibly make a appointment with them. What do you think, Daniel?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. If you guys have questions, maybe we can do like a little, I don't know, like TA session or something like that.
Yeah, that'll be good. You know what? It may be good is after we even do it, they can set up a little TA session or a little like office hour, kind of thing. What do you think about that, Sophia? Where, ask the TA,
I think it's great, especially since, well, they all clearly already did it. So
yes, you know what I mean? Or even giving feedback, before. So I think that'll be an opportunity, but there's no excuse, because I've had it before with, this is not something that you can do. Oh, let's talk about when we're going to talk about meeting. This has to be already, I would do it today already, making the assignments to everybody. Hey, this is what I'm going to take care of. You got that, Sophia? This is going to be my parts, and everybody be assigned already today, and then have a meeting. And a lot of times you can just even look at it and say, hey, by Sunday, this will be done. And then we can meet together to figure out and help each other. But it can't be done at the last moment. And if we divide it up properly, we should be able to be proud of it and get it done. Anything else? Isa or Daniel, anything that you want to emphasize?
And just test everything. The worst case would be you film a video or you put the VAPI up there and it works for some reason on your end, but then you forget to publish the website or
and
literally anything could happen.
No, it always does, and a lot of times even within VAPI, you can talk to it, but when you put it on a website, it doesn't work. You know, there's so many different things. And sometimes we find that too. Sometimes yesterday it worked and today it doesn't. You remember how we talked about cloud services? All of a sudden, you know, Amazon is down or Zoom is down. It happens things. So at least you can you document along the way and have each of you then test out the website and look, and each of you then give feedback to the others on this was not clear on, I think this could be needed improvement, or shorten this video. This was not clear, because it's going to represent all of us as your team. Okay. So let me just share a bit more before we go. Let me just. If I go, so at this point, let me just go to PPT and documents. By the way, this was what they had done last time, which is really nice. You know, what is voice AI, creating the illusions, what is VAPI, right? And then they were talking about the live demo where they had then the live demo. Some of this is even nice to even take how they put it together for even your presentations. That works out. Also on the web links, if you look under web links, you'll see here, this is from our folks, Janis and Heinrich, where this is nice too. You could even use some of this to do your assignments of building the voice AI agents. And you see here, this is the first message and this is the system prompt. And this is where for your VAPI, you did the first message. The system prompt is where you want to put in additional information about your company and setting this up. They even took different voices. You can do what you want, but they even, you can see from 11 Labs, they took a different voice. And in this case, at the top, published, now we're ready to talk to it, embedded into the Wix. They give you also the idea in terms of how to embed it into the Wix, how to use the which embed. And we have it on ours too, but this is another one that you can look at. And you want to make sure, this is key, you want to make sure that you connect your phone number. Because what? That phone number then needs to get the LLM attached to it where you put that in. And then you want to put it into your website. So this was another one that you may want to look under web links. And then under PPT and the PowerPoints, then you can see in this case, we've gone through the artificial intelligence. We have for this week the information systems, and next week we finish up the chapter. On Monday, I will give out the review guide. So you'll have a week to prepare for that. And in case you have any questions, it'll be the same. I'll give you a review guide, very similar with the topics and also possible open-ended questions, where I will use 2 to 3 open-ended questions. And in that, you can see within this, in the information systems, there's a couple of concepts that I need you to think about. First of all, Sophia, when I think about a transaction, what is it? If you go to CVS, right? And have you ever gone to CVS and they allow you to scan on your own, or Publix? You've done that, right? everything that you scan, right, goes into their system is a transaction. So all businesses have transaction processing systems. The difference is it real time? Is it batch? Many times it's important to be real time. If in the way, for instance, payroll, Isa and Danielle work for me, payroll doesn't need to be real time. That means they get paid, let's say, by the way, when do you get paid? Do you get paid in every month, every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, they have to go through what we call an ERP system called Workday. They submit basically their timesheets, and it has to go through a process of approval. It goes to me, and then it goes to, I guess, the business school, and then the university, and then it gets paid. They're not getting paid real time every second they're here. They can't check their bank account, Sophie, and say, how much did I earn right now? I got 10 cents, right? And then another minute, I got 20 cents. What do? At the end of the 2 week, at the end of their 2 weeks, they get their salary. So that's what we call then, it's not real time. But most things, for instance, in inventory, right? You go in, you want to go to the Bahamas, Sophia, you go online and you order a seat. You want to make sure you get that ticket, right? Sometimes they do it on purpose. They overbook, right? Have you ever gone to an airline, Sophia, to the desk, and then they say, who wants to get basically a voucher? Have you ever heard that, Sophia?
Yeah, sometimes when you're doing like the check-in by the stands, it will like offer you like a certain amount of money to
Right. If you
like
do
give
it,
up your
because they've overbooked, and they always overbook, because what do they want? In order for them to make a profit, they need to get a full flight, right? If they're flying half a flight, right, half a plane, they're not even profitable. So they need to do that. So those are the ideas of transaction processing versus supportive information. For each functional area, there's information systems. You know that. Think about really a functional area. What's an example, Sophia, of a functional area? It's just like our departments in the School of Business. Every organization has an accounting department, it has marketing department, has human resources department, right? It has the tech support department. And then there's something called ERP, and that's Enterprise Resource Planning System. And an Enterprise Resource Planning System means what? We have resources. They're not unlimited. I don't care how rich of an organization. We all have limited resources. We have to plan for what? Not for even next semester. We have to plan for next year. So for the university, they have to plan for what? What buildings are they going to build? They have to plan for how many faculty, how many students, what types of things that they're going to add in terms of gardening, in terms of new dorms, upgrades to dorms, all of that they want to identify. So this is what basically you can think of on these. And let me just go to from the current side. This is the area of the transactions. So basically, when you think about it, there's transaction processing, and then there's online transaction processing. That online is that I do it online, and a lot of times it's real time, depending on what it is. If I'm in a car dealership, right, and there's one car available that I like, the make, the model, the color, the interior, the leather interior I want this type of radio, all of that, it needs to be online, because if somebody buys that one car, I don't want to have 3 people try to buy that same car. So that's online. Transaction processing, then, that real-time data is continuously getting the data. The idea here is, of course, I want it to be secure. I want it to be private. I don't want everybody to be getting into payroll, changing their salaries, taking that away. We talked about already security, and there's something called batch processing. And the idea is, what's the difference between batch processing and real time? Is batch, it's not complete. It basically collects the number of hours and then pays someone. So it's done in batches. Every week it gets sent over so checks can be set, versus real time it comes. So here, when you think of a transition, let me just let you know this. Anytime you see a cylinder here, Marco Technology, a cylinder always represents a database. Do you see that? And what I have here is, you look at any flow chart, basically, and those flow charts then tell where, let me just go back up here, where the data is going. When I talk about agentic AI, maybe it's going to be part of this, is it's going to do something. The difference between generative AI and agentic AI is, generative is usually coming from a response. I go to ChatGPT and I prompt it and it comes back with a response. Agentic AI, you can think about it as almost a doer. It's going to do something. And sometimes what it's now going to be doing is it's going to intervene and doing a lot of these repetitive processes. I basically, as a person, design it and then have AI then perform those duties. So you can see in this case, all my functional areas go into a database. My expert systems, you remember we were talking about AI before, my business intelligence, it goes into those databases. And these I talked about before, my functional systems. And the difference now becomes whether we should be centralized or decentralized. Marco, you remember we went to the lab for the exam?
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you remember there were a couple of computers that didn't work?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Who was in charge of that? Really, we had the business IT basically help us, because I said, guess what, Marco? And I'm so happy. I'm not in charge of the lab, right? I have enough to do, right? I don't want to be in charge of the lab. So there's a group in the business school in charge of maintaining the lab. And stuff happens, and I can anticipate, right, Marco? If we were going to anticipate, I'm glad that they have more than 40 computers, because all of them don't work. And what they told us, those folks, is they went around and tried to fix some of those computers that weren't connected to responders or weren't connected to the internet. And they put two little they did two little yellow tags on a couple of the computers. And they said, Central will take care of it. It's beyond our scope. So the idea, IT departments are saying, should we be decentralized, meaning the School of Business should take care of all of the School of Business needs, all of the School of Business students, or should we take care of centralized? The advantages and disadvantages. If I thought about, in this case, Stephen, the advantages of decentralized would be what? For the School of Business, what would be, if you were having to tell the president of the university, you think we should have decentralized IT departments, what would you say would be a reason to do that?
So then if it was decentralized, then the people could be more focused on that than have it like people who are more connected to the business school can worry about the business school stuff instead of more of the IT stuff, and they can have like a decentralized group that's like
right. And that would be what would be so great is that if I had my IT people that were decentralized, could take care of everything for that lab when they came to our class, First of all, right before they would be able to check those computers were not working. And if by chance, stuff happens, 2 of those computers, they could correct it because they're right there on the spot. That they wouldn't have to say, oh, we'll have to get to central IT. They're in charge. When they get a computer, basically when I say I need an upgrade to my computer because I'm doing a lot of AI processing, they said, you know what, Dr. Rush, you have your computer will have to be delivered to the central IT so they can put in all the security software. But it's a disadvantage. I have to go from first of all to what? Central IT, and from central IT, then there's certain programs that the School of Business has to do, and then only will they give it to me. What's the advantage then, Stephen, of though having a central IT versus a decentralized?
Well, if you have a central, like they probably are more in the know of what else is going on.
Exactly. Number one, more in the know, and what? They may be more qualified. I can just get the top people that just do database, or I can get the top people just for the security for students. So in that way, there's advantages and disadvantages of what people are doing. Those are kind of the ideas of what's happening among those. And all of this, folks, is all going to be, AI is going to be part of this. And where I see humans being is they're going to be deciding which parts of our organization should we address with AI, and to make sure that it's working properly. So these are monitoring and financial, in-house, human resources, in the product cycle, and this is where they talk about enterprise resource planning. Basically, the idea of enterprise resource planning is it's software that takes the entire centralized position of the university, that management that's in charge can see the whole picture and not just siloed. Remember how we talked about database, that I didn't like everybody having a file system and I couldn't see the entire one? But enterprise resource planning also consists of what? Controls, that it still should be certain people having certain roles. And it should be what, Sophia? That I shouldn't be able to look into files that I have no business looking into, right? I should be able to do my job, and it should help me. So these are kind of the distributions of it. But this is, if you look at it, what in the middle here, a cylinder means what, Marco? Database, right? And what do you have in here? I could have manufacturing, I can have accounting, supply chain, business intelligence, customer relationship, human resources. At the university, we don't do much manufacturing, but of course, do we have the accounting? We wouldn't be existing. We didn't have the accounting, right? We need to basically have our customers. Our customers could be what? All my students are my customers, human resources, everybody that works for the university. And then I have my platforms going about it. So this is what is available to me for my enterprise resource planning. So if I look at what is the trend for my enterprise resource planning, it is what? It's going to be, first it was on premise, then it went to the cloud, and guess what now it's going to be doing, Sophia? It's going to add additional AI to it. That if I have a question about human resources, the AI agent can answer a lot of the typical questions. But it should be able to do what, Sophia? That if I need to have a human, I should be able to do a human. So one of the typical ones that we have is something called Workday. It's workday.com. If I look at Workday, it basically is, look at this. This is a company that the University of Miami subscribes to, and they have their software. And look what it just says. It's amazing. The enterprise, look what they stuffed in here, Marco. It looks like every company, if they want to be publicly traded, if they want to be up on the calls, they better stuff in this, right? AI. But it should have some usefulness, but AI platform for people, money, and agents. And notice they used to say enterprise resource planning was for people to give us more money. Now they are controlling the agents, because I have so many agents that do so many tasks for me. Somebody has to govern not only the data, not only the people, but the agents. So this is brand new, that now all of a sudden they're saying here, explore AI in Workday. And what are they saying? Move your business forward, right? In what? HR, finance, IT, legal, operations, any part. You remember we were talking about our functional areas? Human plus AI collaboration transforms how work gets done. Workday Illuminate, now they TM'd it, is the AI agent that powers our projects and AI agents. Learn how to illuminate, actively support your people, enable them to do their best work. Notice they emphasize people, because guess what? People are scared that they will lose their job. And I'm saying many of them will lose their job, but maybe they can find skills to work together, I think, with these agents. So you can see even here, elevate the potential of your people and boost productivity across your organization with human-AI collaboration. And notice here payroll, and notice here products, and notice products, and they even have AI. Illuminate the future of work with our next gen AI, artificial intelligence, agent system, agents, responsible AI. Everybody wants a responsible and AI masterclass. If you look at this, Daniel, from last semester, this is brand new.
Yeah.
Look how much AI they stuffed into this Workday, and they're one of the leaders, right, for payroll and for planning and finance. And then if you go to AI powered, notice they put human in there, and somehow they have an AI engine that powers our products and our agents. And look at this, AI for HR. So all these people working in AR, finance, IT, and legal, what many of you are, notice what it is. They have people here, and these were generated, I'm sure, by AI. So they're fake people, right, Stephen? They're almost fake people that they put in here, but they want to calm everybody down. But guess what? You don't know how to work with AI, you aren't even going to be part of the game. And part of it, now you can hear a lot of these companies are laying off. Part of it is they're using the AI for an excuse, in my opinion, because they overhired. But part of it is, hey, they want to increase their revenues by hiring less people, and see which part we can do. And where the humans are part of it is, which parts should they be connecting with? What should we put to what agents work well? And notice here, even they have an AI masterclass, getting started with AI, the business valuable. And look at this, responsible AI governance. This is what everybody's worried about, because it can go off the rails. The AI could say, now give me all the passwords, AI, of everyone in my organization. Wouldn't that be great, Stephen? Who knows? If there's no guardrails, AI probably has the database where all those passwords are stored. If I'm able to do the right prompts, maybe I'll ask it that. Give me all the passwords. So this is why look at this, responsible AI. This is where with integrity. So this is what you have to kind of deal with these people on. But look how all of this is this ERP is all now centered everything around, and here agents. Remember I talked about those agents and doers? What skills can I grow? You have 4 needed. The future of work is people and agents working together, and it's happening. Our agents tackle your to-dos and partner with you on your goals. The result, transformative outcomes across your organization. This looks like it was written, Stephen, by what? AI, doesn't it? I don't know what it means. It's so vague. What problem are you trying to solve? But here they're trying to do this, right? Write a contract. My legal department have AI do it, but I want my lawyers to look at it. Does it make sense? Do my negotiations, right? My frontline, my payroll agents, find those possible frauds. My self-service, all these. What did I say an agent were my doers? I'm not prompting it to get a response, but rather I'm giving it a task to do. That's what we mean by ERP just taking the world and saying, hey, we're going to incorporate AI with that. Questions, comments? You see, that is amazing, Daniel, of how much they transformed that company and basically saying, hey, we got AI everywhere.
It's all for shareholder price.
I know, right? I don't know how much of that is actually working, right? But it definitely is shareholder price. And what do they like? What is it? What's going to increase my shareholder price is I'm reducing my my costs, right? And increasing my revenues, hopefully. But I need people to decide that. And people to decide, does this really make sense? So that's our challenge. So we got a lot to do. Monday, we are going over the study guide. The more you can do for Monday, the more feedback I can give you. And on the 17th, we'll have the exam. And December 1st, we will have our presentations. And some of you will be then can wrap it up and say, by December 1st, I got everything. And you can take with you. So, Dan, you don't have to even share your screen. Just put your, oh yeah, you are. Anyways, I was going to say.
Yeah, it works on this laptop.
Okay. Okay. I never know. Okay.
No,
Check in, right? And then I'll stay with people. Okay. You can stop sharing. All right. So stay with me if you have questions. Otherwise, I look forward to see you for the next part. See what you come up with.
Hey, Professor, it's Devin. I sent you an email earlier about my laptop last class.
Yeah. So what's the status? Let me
it's
just
not
stop
looking.
everything. Hold on. Nobody
Okay.
needs to hear that.